So I want to do a quick review and run through of the new Leatherman Wave Plus. As you can see, I had a Leatherman Original for 25 years, wore it on my hip every day, except when I was traveling in an airplane. And it finally got so old, and the blades, like particularly the drop point, were so thin from being sharpened so bloody many times, I had to send it in. And that was about a month ago. And, well, they wrote me a letter and said, sorry, it's out of warranty. We're sending you a new one. And so this showed up. And I was like, but I like my old one. Then I started playing with this. I am freaked out how incredible it is. I'm amazed at the engineering, how much they have packed into this little itty bitty thing that's only 4 inches long. And I think it only weighs like 8 ounces or something. It's tiny. It's incredible. Anyway, quick run through on the Leatherman Wave. It has the external blades, has a drop point, which locks. The locking mechanism is real easy. You just push sideways right there. It goes back in. It also has a serrated blade. You can see here. They have some serrations here. Now I modified. I added a couple more serrations. Funny story. On my original Leatherman Wave, they didn't have the serrations. And I put those in myself because at night I wanted to be able to pull it out and tell which blade was going to be opening. So I put serrations on it. Then I was touring Leatherman factory with one of the engineers, and I said, oh, check it out, I added these serrations. Well, then a little later, the original, they started having serrations. Okay, so I'm a genius, and they owe me millions. Yeah, right. Anyway, it was a cool idea. Maybe they picked it up, or maybe they got it elsewhere. Anyway, so it does have the serrated blade, and this has a nice sharp square point, which is fantastic for... Now, of course, I've sharpened this again, so it's like absolutely scary razor sharp. It just cuts like nobody's business. And the steel on this seems to be much better steel than it was on the original, so I can really, I can put a good edge on it. I use a 1-inch grinder with a, I think it's like a 12,000 grit belt. And it just polishes to death. Now, this has been used for cutting blackberries, for cutting all sorts of stuff. I think I cut some meat with it last night myself, sitting down eating a steak. Anyway, so that's why it's dirty. So it has the 2 blades, and then it has a file. Now, it's a nice file, nice kind of mill bastard type, and it has one cut edge, and it has one safe edge. That way you can go right up against the little corner, and it won't file over on this side. It'll only file down, which is really kind of handy. And then it has diamond on the other side. And actually, I use this for sharpening, like when I go to a friend's house and they have me, cut meat or something or vegetables in the kitchen, and their knives are dull, like, you can't tell which is the front and the back edge of the knife. I'll take this out and I can sharpen their knives quite effectively using this diamond. It's amazing. I love it. And then on the other side, they have the saw. And this is brutally sharp. Don't hit your finger with it. It will pierce you instantaneously and leave you bloody and lots of little points. What's really cool is they back grind the edge of the blade so that the back is thinner than the teeth. So it's actually like a woodworking saw. I forgot to hold down my autofocus here. Let's see if I can make that work. Hey, I got autofocus locked. There we go. And so it's like a woodworking saw where it actually has set to the teeth. It's wider at the teeth than it is at the back, so it doesn't drag. And boy, it is aggressive. I mean, I use this for pruning, for doing a lot of things. It's really fantastic. It's an excellent saw. And of course, all the outer implements have that same lock where you just push sideways and close it. And then we can open this guy up, and it has the wonderful pliers. I love these pliers. These get used at least once a day in my life. When I'm out in the shop, they're continually in use. When I'm welding, I'm always whipping this out and trimming my wire, cleaning up the MIG tip and all that kind of stuff. It's just, I love it. And now the new Leatherman has these replaceable, insertable wire cutters, and you can see it has a notch. Let me see if I can get this to refocus the way I want. Come on, lock down. There we go. Yeah, So it has cutters out here, which I think are more like for braided, and then it has these little notch thingies down here, which is more for heavy, well, like this, you know, like it. So here's a, you know, bink. Oh boy, that was tough to cut. Let's do it again. Oh yeah, okay. Anyway, so it's got those down there, and I'll refocus this guy so we can see what we're doing better down there. Yeah. Oh, it didn't lock. Let me lock it. Come on, lock that focus. Bing, bing, bing. There it is. It's locked. Okay. So, yeah, those work really well. And these are replaceable. So if you bugger them up, you can replace them. And that was the deal with the old ones, is I would do something stupid like try and cut a piece of wire I thought was soft, and it was hardened. It was like, you know, like a piece of spring steel. And then these would be all dinked, and then the jaws would stick together, and I couldn't open the pliers up. And so I'd have to pry them open and take my Dremel and fix them up. It was really a pain. Now you can just swap them out. Really cool. Cool idea. Also, one of the modifications I did on the pliers is they come with a square tip grind, a square across. I always grind them a little bit to a point because, well, you know, when I get, you know, splinters or, you know, big tag, dig in and pull them out. So I always grind them to a point like that. Let's see, what else on the outside? Okay, on the pliers, that's about it. All right, now the tools that are then hidden inside the handles. Let me get this to refocus so it looks even better here. Come on, there we go. Bink. Okay. So on this side, there's a can opener, good old John Wayne style, you know, go around the can, and a bottle opener. And then there's also this for stripping wire, so you can put your wire in there and hold it with your thumb and strip it that way. It's kind of handy. This locks, beautiful way the lock works. You can see it's just right. If I give it a squeeze, pop, and then it closes. Fantastic. The other tool on this side is the screwdriver. And now when I first got that, I was like, oh, come on, guys, this thing's kind of winky-dink. No, it's fantastic because it pulls out. And so you have an actual number 2 Phillips, and they grind the point pretty tight. So it actually works in a number 1 as well and a number 2. It's really handy-dandy. And then they have the 3/16 flat, which is beautiful. I guess there's a whole other bit set you can get to do all sorts of different bits, but then you got to haul them around separately, and it's a pain. So I'll probably just live with that for the rest of my life. Again, it locks, same locking style. Bink, really handy-dandy. On the other side, it has a 1/4 inch wide, and this is great for opening paint cans. And they sharpen it wonderfully, or they grind it very, very square, so you can actually use it for a little scraper, you know, like that. I screwed up my desk. I'll have to sand that down. Anyway, so they got that. It's just beautiful. I use that a lot. I use that little bugger a lot. And then they have the good old scissors, but these aren't the good old ones. These are new and improved. They really, really work nicely. They have a much more aggressive spring, a bigger thumb pad, so it's not so harsh on your finger or your thumb when you're trying to cut through something heavy. The blades, I mean, they just do a fantastic job with this rivet, so they just run like they should. And I use these guys a lot for trimming little bits of, you know, like on my suit the other day, I had some threads hanging off the button, and I clean them right up so it looks good. My cat, I even did her nails. Bink, bink, bink. Because her nails get big and she hangs up in the carpet. She's old and doesn't get out much, so she doesn't wear them down. So that's the scissors, and again, they lock. The exact same locking mechanism. Beautiful. Then you fold them back. They tuck in. And then you'll notice also, if you can see down in the bottom of this, here I can point it out this way maybe, yeah. There's this little pad here, and that's part of the scissors, but the way it's set up is that actually kind of catches the tip of the pliers when it closes. Actually, no, the tip seems to fit between the scissors and the screwdriver. I'm sorry, I was wrong. That's beautiful. Yeah, it just locks right in there. It's fantastic. Beautiful design. On the other side, same thing, except here they have a little pad. That's what I was thinking of. They have that little bink, and that's what catches the tip of the pliers as they close. One last thing, I just saw it today and I hadn't noticed this and I didn't believe it, but it's really cool. If you lay this out really carefully and nice and kind of straight like this, it has rulers down here, inchic and metric, and it's actually spot on. It's amazing. So if I put the 1 at the 1, you can see over here the 6 is at the 6, 7 at the 7. It's just beautiful. It's like it's supposed to be. So that actually works. I'm really flabbergasted. That's just an amazing piece. And then it comes with the sheath. The nylon sheath slides on your belt. I like that. Oh, I should have dug out my old leather sheath and show you how many times I had to fix it. Anyway, I like this. They beautiful. This snap is so large and it's just, you know, oh, it's gorgeous. But the one thing about this that I had to modify, actually two things I had to modify. Number one is this had a square flap, right? And so when my coat and where my arm would be, you know, on my body next to me like this, and I keep and that little corner started getting all, it was bent up, you know. So if like here's the if this is the flap of that, it had this little curl over here all the time. It was kind of curled up, and so it kept catching my arm. It was really a nuisance. So I just went out in the shop and took my soldering iron and cut that off, and that worked fantastic. Now the other thing I did too is I made this little block. It's just a couple pieces of ABS glued together, and I made it so it fits right in the bottom down here. And the reason I did that is twofold. One, I ran this finger through a table saw last January, and you can see it's boogered up. It doesn't bend like it's supposed to, and it's really fat. So I got Mr. Sausage. And so it's really hard for me to pull this out when it was, actually, let me tuck this back out here. Bink, get rid of that thing. Come on, get out there. Get out. Get out. There we go. When it was down deep like this, it was a nuisance for me to pull that Hummer out. So I built this little block, put it in down there. Oh, it's the wrong way around. Come on. Sit flat. Sit flat. You sit flat. Just a minute here. Technical difficulties. Come on. Oh, come on, you little bugger. I think I can get it. Yeah, I can get it. There it is. Nope. It flipped the wrong way. There it is. Okay. So with that little in there, it sticks out far enough that I can get a hold of it real easily with my burned up finger, right? And secondly, even better, I love this. When I go to close it, I just smash it flat, because now the distance around lines that up. So when I go to put it in, see, before, when this was down lowered, I have to put it in, I kind of have to fiddle with it to find the location. And now I can just snap it like that, just slam it, and it's closed. Anyway, that's the Leatherman Wave Plus, the new one. It's such an incredible piece of engineering. I love it. I wear it every day. I use it every day, and I highly recommend it. And also I recommend sending your old ones in so they'll send you a new one. It's fantastic.